Mr. Speaker, may I have the privilege of the floor?
Absolutely. Please proceed.
It's such a privilege for me to come home and to get a chance to visit with you and to give you a sense of the beginning of this new golden age in America. For the last years that I have come here, the message has been a little bleak, but it's a new day. And I can't even describe how different things are in Washington. You know, I served in this body, House and Senate, for 14 years. All 14 years were with Democrat governors. And I've served 12 years so far in the United States Congress, all with Democrat presidents. Until the last couple of weeks, I had never, ever served with a Republican administration. So it's a great new experience. And not only that, this is unlike anything we've ever seen in Washington. The pace at which President Trump and his administration is moving is jaw-dropping, very positive. He has signed over 300 executive orders, many of them focused to solve problems that have vexed Wyoming for the last 4 years. President Trump has lifted the Rock Springs Resource Management Plan. President Trump is lifting the Rock Springs, the Buffalo RMP. He has selected a new Bureau of Land Management Director, Kathleen Sagama, who many of us know from Denver. She is going to be a true friend of multiple use. She understands multiple use. And that was a doctrine that had escaped the attention of the last administration. President Trump signed an executive order keeping women's sports for women. It was a tremendous celebration. I got to go to the White House for the celebration, celebrate with women, 100 women of all ages coming together to thank President Trump for the executive order. Girls who want a fair chance to hone their athletic skills and abilities without concerns about having a volleyball spiked in their face that causes a concussion or other unfairnesses associated with the difference in capabilities from people born men and people born women. It was the happiest day. All these women are on bleachers behind the president, and when he gets done with his remarks and sits down at a desk to sign the order, he says, "Why don't you all gather around?" And all these little girls just mob him and are standing all around him as he signed the executive order. It was a great celebration and a happy day. And the list goes on and on. Wyoming is going to enjoy the opportunity to be part of this great golden age, and we can help President Trump in that regard. Now, the Senate's role, of course, is to confirm President Trump's nominees, and we've been moving as fast as the Senate rules will allow us to. Now, in the Senate, the rules are designed to protect the minority party. So they are able to slow things down and use 30 hours between when one nominee is considered and the next. And they've been doing that. And so we've been staying and working weekends. So if those 30 hours come up in the middle of the night, if they come up on a weekend, we are there to vote and move on to keep things moving for the president. And because of that, Democrats are starting to realize that it might behoove them to allow us to vote during daylight hours and perhaps during the week. So we are moving along. I have invited 3 of the cabinet nominees to Wyoming this year. One is our new transportation secretary, Sean Duffy. Obviously, we're moving into surface transportation issues that need our attention. It is our lifeline across Wyoming. So Sean Duffy hopefully will be visiting us. He had a baptism by fire. He was sworn into his job, and 4 hours later, the planes and the helicopter collided over the Potomac. So he has been inundated with the problems of air traffic control and other matters in the U.S. since that time. But hopefully he'll be able to join us this summer. I've invited Lee Zeldin, the new director of the EPA. Obviously, these are important issues to us. And on the Environment and Public Works Committee, I chair the subcommittee that's working on power. So the former administration's Clean Power Plan 2.0 can be dropped in File 13 and revamped in a way that allows America to have clean and abundant energy and not just shut it down. And I've also invited Robert F. Kennedy Jr. To be with us. As some of you may know, RFK hunts in Sweetwater County. And so I have invited him, if he gets a chance, to join his hunting buddies in Eden, Wyoming, to get together for a health roundtable in Rock Springs. And we're planning it already in hopes that he is able to join us. What this does is give Wyoming a chance to have our issues be front and center. We can explain rural health care, frontier health care, from our perspective. We can explain lack of permitting clarity from our perspective. We can explain how electric vehicles are not paying any taxes to the roads in this country. It's all being borne by liquid fuels, and we need to change that as we move forward with a highway bill. All of these issues are within my committee jurisdictions, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you to bring about a new golden age for Wyoming as we do it in Washington as well. It feels so different. I can't even describe how different it feels in Washington. And it's happy, and it's active, and it's moving forward at a pace none of us have ever seen. But it's going to make for a better America. If you're watching network television, you're not seeing and hearing what Elon Musk is actually doing to ferret out waste, fraud, and abuse. We all want to be generous in the way we support our fellow man around the world with food, clothing, shelter, disease prevention. But we don't want it to go to fund Sesame Street programs in Iraq, in DEI in Sri Lanka, in explaining gender norms and disparities in Africa or South America. That's where the money was going. This had become a rogue agency. So we're pulling it under Marco Rubio, who, by the way, is going to be fabulous. Of course, he is a Cuban American, speaks fluent Spanish, was immediately dispatched to Panama to help address our concerns about Chinese aggression in Panama. We were paying $1 million a ship to bring our ships through the Panama Canal. And this is a canal we built and that we gave to the Panamanian people. That's going to change. It is astonishing what President Trump is doing for this country. We're in a new blessed age, and I intend to work with you and with the president to bring it about as quickly as we can. I want to tell you another thing. I served 12 years in this body, and my first year was 1979. I was a freshman with Charlie Scott. I served on the House Judiciary Committee, and Ellen Crowley was the chairman of that committee at the time. We went through bills page by page, and I learned how to read legislation and amend it in real time with real people's thoughts and real people's input, your input. It never happens that way in Washington. You know how many bills we marked up in the Banking Committee in Congress in the last 4 years? None. 4 years. So I get to chair this new subcommittee in the Banking Committee on digital assets. We're marking up a bill next week on stablecoins, much of which I learned from you because Wyoming was the first of its kind in working with digital assets. And we're going through that bill with our subcommittee page by page. I learned that from you. This is a superior legislative body. And I don't know how much you recognize it. I know I tell you that every year, but you might think it's gratuitous. It's not gratuitous, it's true. So I want to applaud you, Mr. Speaker, for blessing our state and its people with providing true representation, not substituting your judgment for theirs, but listening to them and truly being a mirror of this special place. And I want to thank you for serving in the Wyoming legislature. Mr. Speaker, I yield back.